I'm pretty happy that we're getting more Love Live games now, especially given what's been happening with the franchise's mobile games over the past year, of course at the time of this review. I'm even more stoked that we now have 2 games based on Yohane the Parhelion, which is a fantasy spin-off of Love Live Sunshine featuring the school idol group Akua. We had looked at Yohane the Parhelion, Blazing the Deepblue in a previous review, but today's review will be the other game, Yohane the Parhelion, NUMAZU and the Mirage, which I'll just shorten to NUMAZU and the Mirage going forwards, which is a roguelike deck building game. You don't need to be overly familiar with the Yohane the Parhelion anime adaptation, its manga, or even Love Live Sunshine to enjoy this game, but being familiar with them will definitely make things more enjoyable. For transparency, a copy of this game was provided courtesy of a PR network. There will also be footage out of context from late game, but key main story details will not be shown. NUMAZU and the Mirage is set in a fantasy version of the Japanese city of NUMAZU. The Yohane the Parhelion series is a spin-off of Love Live Sunshine and features the school idol group Akua as inhabitants of the fantasy NUMAZU, with Yohane or Yoshiko Tsushima from Love Live Sunshine as our main character. Yohane lives in NUMAZU and works as a fortune teller as well as a handywoman. One day, after getting a fortune wrong for a merchant and feeling bad for him, Yohane and her wolf companion Lilaps helps the merchant carry his goods and are offered a reward for their hard work. Yohane decides to choose a mirror to expand her horizons on fortune telling. A week later, at a party with her friends, the other members of Akua, the conversation changes to slip-ups and mistakes the girls have made, which leads to Yohane bringing out the mirror she got the other day. Yohane announces that she's going to try a new type of fortune telling with the mirror, similar to a story that the girls know called Warren and the Bad Mountain, where the hero Warren, who happens to be both a fortune teller and a mage, fights a monster from the mountains known as the Night Wicked using his magic. After initially failing to use the mirror, it starts shining and the girls see it as a sign that it's encouraging Yohane and wrap up the party. The following day, Yohane goes out to see her friend Hanamaru to find out that she is feeling drained, so after getting Lilaps to escort her back home, Yohane tries to find the cause of Hanamaru's illness and as a result gets sucked into the mirror. Yohane quickly finds herself in NUMAZU and realises she's trapped in the world within the mirror. After getting attacked by an enemy and learning that she can use magic via the use of cards in this world, a mysterious voice entices Yohane to go further in so she can find out what happened to Hanamaru. Can Yohane solve the mystery around the mirror and defeat the enemies along the way? More importantly, is this game any good? Find out in The Good. Let's address the elephant in the room here. Doesn't the gameplay of this game seem very similar to another roguelike deck building game? Slay the Spire in particular. Well, you won't be wrong in thinking that because this is very much Slay the Spire with a Love Live skin on it, and I think that the style of gameplay really works in its favour. As Yohane makes her way through the mirror world, she has a series of paths to choose from. Some of these paths involve fighting monsters, others may involve opening chests for rewards, or events involving the other girls and Lilaps which could reward or penalise Yohane. Yohane can earn money by beating enemies, opening chests or certain events, and there are shop spaces where she can spend the money she earns on her journey to buy new cards and charms from Hanamaru. As Yohane progresses, she will gain new cards, support characters in the form of her friends, and charms, and with 150 cards available, you'll be spoiled for choice. Support characters can provide a buff and benefits for Yohane in battle, but will disappear at the end of battle or after 3 turns. Depending on which support characters you have, you can get additional effects if you have certain ones out at the same time. Yohane can only have up to 3 support characters with her, and they can be obtained as a reward at the end of battle. Charms can provide both positive and negative effects and are instrumental in helping Yohane progress as they can increase her attack and defense abilities, to giving her certain cards at the start of a turn, or even healing her before bosses or dealing damage to elite enemies when you encounter them, to name a few. Cards are pretty straightforward. There are attack cards which deal damage, and shield cards which protect Yohane, and these cards can often have secondary effects. There are also support cards which can provide passive benefits. In the top left corner of each card is its energy cost, and Yohane only has a limited amount of energy each turn, so there is some strategy in choosing the right cards to play in a turn, though you can increase your energy with the use of boosts, charms and card effects. Depending on the rarity of the card, an animation will play of Yohane playing the card, which is pretty neat too. There's also animations for when she summons her friends as supports. Card effects can also be boosted on rest spaces, which you can also use to recover health, though you can only pick one or the other. Thankfully, you can upgrade cards and recover health through certain events. And charms can also affect the ability of cards too. As Yohane clears each run, she can also complete requests along the way, such as having certain cards or landing on certain spaces a number of times, and she gains reputation points out of them. These points can be used as a boost to make Yohane's next run easier, or can go towards unlocking new cards that Yohane can get, or costumes which can change up the starting card and charms Yohane starts with. The gameplay I felt was easy to learn, and there's a lot of strategizing involved to really master it, which makes it fun. I feel it's also appealing for casual gameplay as well with its difficulty settings. While I played the game on normal, there are easier difficulty options available, which is Yohane start off with an additional charm giving her benefits to make the stages easier, and I appreciate the accessibility. The game's replayability factor is something else I really liked about it. While there is the main story to progress through first, after completing the game you can take on the mirror world with randomised bosses at the end of 3 of the main areas and the game's final boss at the end of the 4th. You can go through this in order to complete requests or challenges and earn reputation points, or to try out a new playstyle or costume you might have unlocked. This will be enhanced further in the future with DLC planned for the game, which will give you more costumes, music from the anime series, and even play as other members of our crew, which I'm looking forward to. The replayability factor also makes this game a time sink, as it's not uncommon to spend a bit of time planning out your path, building your strategy by getting the right cards and charms, and fighting enemies. I thoroughly enjoyed my time playing through the game's story and several post-game runs, but there are little things that irked me about the game, so let's look at those in the bad. There isn't a lot that I particularly didn't like about the game, and it's all minor stuff. For a game around Love Life, though a spin-off, I'm a little surprised how little amount of music is actually involved. Blazing the Deepblue has its own vocal song, and the series as a whole has a focus on music, so it seems strange that NUMAZU and the Mirage doesn't have its own unique song. While the in-game music fits the theme and style of it, it just seems a little unusual given that other Love Live games usually have a vocal track made for it. There is an element of luck in place, and as you progress through the game, it rightly starts increasing the difficulty, and admittedly, despite playing on normal, I got through the game with little trouble, only having terrible luck and ending a run early once due to an enemy getting lucky. The final boss of the game, who I won't show so you can fully enjoy the experience, is where the difficulty cranks up and gave me some grief, and if your run hasn't been particularly great, or if you've got the wrong charms or supports, chances are you may see yourself starting the run again back at the first area, which is part and parcel with a roguelite. This can understandably get frustrating for some players, as if you've buffed Yohane prior to the run with reputation points, they're gone and you need to spend them again if you have enough. While I enjoyed the replayability of doing new runs after beating the game, I feel you should get a choice on how long these runs are, or even randomise how long they are, instead of knowing that it will be through 4 areas and you need to fight that final boss again. While you can change the difficulty for the run before you start, be mindful that by doing so some of the quests for reputation points are locked out. While these aren't particularly big issues for me, I can see people getting frustrated over it. Other than that, there's nothing else for me to complain about, so let's wrap things up with the opinion. NUMAZU and the Mirage is a really fun deck building game, and I had an absolute blast playing through it. The gameplay, while similar to Slay the Spire, works very well mechanically, and there is a replayability factor doing runs after beating the game's story. It's just a little unfortunate that this game, funny enough, puts music on the backseat given it's a part of the Love Live franchise, and bad luck can lead to some frustrating runs, but these I feel are very minor, and I'd almost even say non-issues with the game. The DLC, which of course hasn't been released at the time of this review, I hope will make the game even more enjoyable and enhance the replayability factor, especially with some of the other characters being playable. As I mentioned earlier, you don't have to be familiar with Love Live or Yohane the Parhelion as a series, so you can jump right in. If deck builders are your thing and you enjoy games such as Slay the Spire, then this might be right up your alley. Of course, if you enjoy Love Live, then this game is definitely worth looking at. The franchise needs more games, given the whole Love Live School Idol Festival 2 Miracle Live debacle and how Global announced its release and end of service in the same announcement. Yohane the Parhelion holds potential for other games in future too, and I wouldn't mind seeing something like a mystery dungeon game involving the characters. That would be pretty cool. So with that, it's time for my rating. I would give Yohane the Parhelion, NUMAZU and the Mirage, Hanamaru dressed up as a tree, out of 10. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next Infinite Backlog review. If you enjoyed today's review, feel free to check out some of our other videos and subscribe for more. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram and our Facebook page. Once again, thank you for watching.